So welcome everybody. A very, very good morning to each and every one of you. Those of you who can turn on your videos, please do so. As we said, as much as possible, if we get to know each other, see each other, I think it just helps build the community and make it stronger. We will try and speak as much as possible in a combination of English and Hindi. तो हमें पता है कि बहुत सारे लोग हमारे साथ जो है यहाँ पे हिंदी में भी बात करना चाहेंगे, और अगर आपको मराठी में भी बात करना है तो प्लीज गो अहेड, जो भी लैंग्वेज में आप कंफर्टेबल हो उसमें प्लीज बात कर लीजिएगा। और इसी तौर पे तो जिनको मतलब इंग्लिश में कंफर्टेबल होते हैं तो उनको भी हमें मतलब अलाउ करना चाहिए। लेकिन एक चीज तो बहुत ही मतलब क्लियर है कि हम एक दूसरे को जानते हैं, एक दूसरे को समझते हैं और एक दूसरे के साथ में काम करना चाहते हैं, और इस दौरान लैंग्वेज शुड नेवर बी अ बैरियर, isn't it? So I think with that I want to kind of get started once again and welcome everybody to this really very very important meeting, क्योंकि इस मीटिंग में जो हम करने जा रहे हैं कि literally lay the foundation of building the capacity and strengthening this community as a group. And how can we work together, how can we support each other. इसमें बहुत सारे जो experts हैं वो कैसे हमें support करेंगे और हमें क्या बताएंगे इस दौरान हम अपने काम में कैसे और ये information लेके काम कर सकते हैं. I think that's really the key of today's this thing, and we'll be making a few announcements at the end. So I really request, though we've kept it 2 hours because of some रिक्वेस्ट दैट वी हैड, अगर हमें थोड़ा सा और टाइम चाहिए रहेगा तो मैं रिक्वेस्ट करूंगी कि एटलीस्ट 12:45 तक अगर हम एक्सटेंड कर पाए, क्योंकि ये मीटिंग बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है और हम चाहते हैं कि जो भी क्वेश्चंस हो, जो भी मतलब इंफॉर्मेशन शेयर करना हो, तो हमें वो अपॉर्चुनिटी मिलना चाहिए और ये मतलब मीटिंग का पूरा फायदा उठा के जाए हम यहाँ से. सो आई होप एवरीबॉडी कैन काइंड ऑफ कीप देयर कैलेंडर्स on hold till about that time, and of course if anybody has to leave, we understand that, but this is what we will try to do in all our meetings कि ज्यादा करके 2 घंटे में मीटिंग्स खत्म करने चाहेंगे, लेकिन अगर थोड़ा बहुत टाइम यहाँ वहाँ 15 मिनट का होता है तो we request your cooperation to do that. Yeah, so with that I'm going to hand it over to Lekha, who I think has been talking to all of you continuously, and Shilpa also. A lot of you have been in touch with them and have been in many discussions. So Lekha, if you can start inviting our various speakers to talk. I think the agenda has already been shared with everybody, but we will put it in the chat box as usual. Please use the chat box. The chat box is a good tool. जितने भी tools हमारे पास है हमें use करना चाहिए. So please do use the chat box to introduce yourself, to ask questions, to give us feedback, give us comments. We are here to listen to you and of course support you in whatever you do. So with that, I think Lekha, if you can please introduce the first speaker. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am, and thank you so much for introducing and giving an introduction and the agenda for today's meeting. And as everyone knows, during a disaster, an SOP is very much necessary. It's important because without that, we won't be able to plan out whatever we want to do. And during an emergency, every single minute counts. So I would like to invite Mr. Vikram Mahajan, CEO of Sphere India, to give us an introduction about the SOPs for during emergency process and also sector guidelines. Over to you, Vikram, sir.
Well, thank you so much, Lekha, and thank you, Mahapekonet, for organizing this very important meeting. The SOP which we are sharing, I think, is not new. It's something which everybody knows about and is keep evolving. Somewhere it is in the behavior of, I think, most of people. I also know that, and while it's maybe wording more around Sphere India and IAG. I know Mahapekonet is something at a state level, a network. Here the name is not important, that what's the name, whether it's IAG or not. It's important about a collaborative of all organizations coming together, which we see the best spirit in Mahapekonet. So you can read it like that. I'm sharing the screen to quickly take it through that. Okay. So I hope all can see the screen.
Yes, thanks, Vikram. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I think it starts basically with the normal time, and when there is no emergencies, we start with early warning and monitoring, and within the network who have a role at the state level, the IAG convener or the coordinator. Along with that, within Sphere India, the program manager for interagency coordination, who takes up the role. They regularly monitor the situation, and if there is any incident which is developing, the hazard information which is developing, we look at of developing the early warning alerts and information and disseminate that. Something which you have been must have been seeing in various WhatsApp group being done by, I think, Lekha herself has been doing a lot of that. And after the early warning alerts, we also propose for that during before monsoon season and before cyclone season, we do emergency preparedness meetings. I think the like of the one for South India happened, and there have been good participation from Mapiconet. It happened a month before, I think. So something like that, or maybe even to the extent I'm taking up that this meeting of Mapiconet is more linked with an emergency preparedness meeting, looking at the monsoon coming up. So meeting like this, but we should fix a frequency of this meeting and also the calendar of this meeting well in advance, knowing that when is the cyclone season in Maharashtra, when is the monsoon season in Maharashtra. So few weeks before that meeting can happen, so that follow-up action can be taken up by various members and stakeholders, right? And then comes up is the as we get closer to the event happens, so within 2 to 4 hours of the event, it's good to have the first SITREP rolling out, right? That now this is post event, and from Sphere India we do make an endeavor that post event within 2 to 4 hours we are able to send the first SITREP, and then the SITREP continues in progression. SITREP 1, SITREP 2, as more information keeps coming in, more information we keep adding to the situation report. And this is essentially can be led by the IAG or the state network, in this case the Mapiconet, and there can be a collaboration and coordination between Sphere India and the state network. We can work it together to make it happen. Sphere is happy to provide information, and the state network to lead it and make it happen. Is actually to say that's the spirit which we'll work on. Now, after that, within 24 hours, we see that within 24 hours, a meeting get convened by the state network, right? Now, this meeting, earlier this meeting used to be a physical meeting, but now we can have a hybrid meeting or a meeting the way we are having it. But sometimes because of the nature of a disaster impact, maybe the communications are affected, the movement is impacted, or the people is impacted. It is often very hard to do the meeting within 24 hours, but still with whosoever could possibly come together and do a joint meeting in which various decisions can be taken. This 24 hours meeting is where we quickly take a stock of the situation, and with the early information available through media sources or whatever sources from our members. I think for a network like Mapiconet, with its member present in all districts, they're the best sources of information. So we discuss and we pick up the information from there and take a collective decision in terms of the level of disaster. Whether what and here again we need not we should look at what government information is about that on the level of disaster, but going beyond that, as a collective, we should ourselves assess that what level of disaster it could be, and how our network need to get geared up to respond to that. Whether it is level 1, which is more district level, a very, very localized one, whether it's a level 2, which is at a state level, where it not need to be a network like Mapiconet that get full mobilized, or whether it's a level 3, where it is also the national resources like need to get full mobilized. So we take a call on to that, and accordingly we activate the next level of the machinery. Stakeholder, our advocacy, our all messages start going around as per that. For example, to say that, I think the disaster which is going on in Assam, there's 5.2 million people affected as of now. The information is coming up, okay, which makes it a case of a level 3 disaster, which is almost like a national level disaster. But yet this is not being discussed in media. This is not going anywhere. But as Sphere Network, we definitely would like to start advocating that let us pay attention to it. the impact of disaster is spreading to 36 districts and the number of people impacted is huge. It should be looked at a national level disaster, and national level machinery should get mobilized. And then, our advocacy with the government and advocacy with others to also look at that point. But till the time government decision come up, we see that we can have a communication more advocacy. But we geared up our internal machinery both at the national and state level accordingly, right? Then after that, important decision is taken in this 24-hour meeting is also about URS activation. URS is Unified Response Strategy, is about collective response. So if the situation we have, after reviewing it, we feel that this is something which requires collective response. So we are activating that system. Now, activating that system means what? It means one is we immediately start developing this secondary report from the network. That is a 24-hour secondary analysis, which is coming from media, other sources. This is something in addition to SITREP. SITREP may be a very simple, structured information of very, very important piece of information. But here, secondary analysis are more detailed information, including the metrics of who is doing what and where, when and how is released. That information is picked up from our members and other organizations. So that also is annexed to the secondary analysis. And also we activate the real-time feedback mechanism. So that is something which can be a call center. Some of our members numbers or people who are there in the local area, affected area, their numbers can be given across and the call center approach can be established. The people who are in need, they start calling on those numbers and we can take feedback from people and we can also address the people's need to this machinery. We see that this kind of thing happen by various organizations, but it can also be done in a coordinated way. So another decision, that the URS metrics, which I have already said, and most important one is with the activation of the URS is decision on the joint rapid need assessment, right? So activation of a URS means now we are going to do a joint assessment. Okay. While there may be some agencies may be doing an organization level assessment, but we also need to have a coordinated assessment. So we quickly come across this in the preparedness meeting. We have already agreed upon the format for the assessment that can be agreed in the assessment, the preparedness time itself. So there's a format available. There is a training of volunteers done on that format. The format is quickly converted into a Kobo Collect or any other digital application. Then, the volunteers from all the organizations are invited. The volunteers are given quick orientation. The interest from various organizations to write the report is invited sector-wise. So those interests, the report writers group is established and report writers meeting and coordination is also done. And we make an effort that post-activation, within 48 hours post-activation, we come up with the first version of the report, right? The 48-hour report may not have a lot of primary information because till that time data collection may not have started on the ground and their data collection may still have constraints because of the the local condition post hazard event. But whatever secondary information is available and whatever minimal primary information can be available, we put that together into a 48-hour report and continue to work on our next report, which is 96 hours report. Our 96 hours report will have substantive primary information collected by the volunteers who have been trained on Kobo and the format to collect information. I think information start coming in. There is at the back end, there is already a pre-programmed Excel sheet can be there, which can quickly analyze the data, which can be picked up by the report writers to put a 96 hours report. I think this is something we have been doing. And interestingly, I think Lekha has been the backbone within Sphere, when we last year, so many reports she had contributed to it. She's well trained on all this aspects. There is, I think, good capacity we have with the Mahapekonet over here now. Then, while this is happening, along with that, we should look at the activation of sector committees, which is a committee for wash, shelter, food, nutrition, health, protection, and education, 6 essential sectors. But we don't limit to 6 sectors because the day before yesterday, we also released a 7th guideline for inclusion of animals, right? So that we don't leave anyone behind. And if there are other groups like cash working group or any other subgroup which is required to be activated in that disaster context, we should look at that and activate them have their meeting, they can reflect on the trends which are coming from the assessment report and strategize what is it that is needed to be required to be done in that sector. Or from after the release of report, we can identify that this disaster, in this disaster context, these 2 or 3 are the priority sectors, and we need to focus on those priority sectors, and then we look at the sector committee mechanism to strengthen that coordination, right? And also, once the report is released, within the 48 hours or within some time of that, we call for a multi-stakeholder coordination meeting, and this meeting need not remain with the members of the MAPICONET. Now is the time to go beyond the membership. We should invite all stakeholders, government, corporates, everybody, and disseminate the information to them that this is what we have come across as a finding of the joint rapid need assessment, and this is what we expect from you as stakeholders, right? And then from that multi-stakeholder coordination meeting, we start developing a joint plan of action. So that's the multi-stakeholder coordination meeting. And then, after that, we, on a need basis, the way the situation is evolving, at a regular interval, we do coordination meetings, and the regular coordination continues, the unified response continues. We monitor the situation on the ground, how it is changing. And at a particular stage, when we feel that the emergency needs are over, right? While there may be recovery needs and there may be long-term, other needs are there, but emergency phase is getting over. At that stage, we do a formal communication that we are closing the unified response at this stage, while the recovery coordination will continue, but there is an exit of unified response. So the SOP, it comes up, there's a trigger with which the unified response starts. There is also a stage when we formally close the unified response, though the recovery coordination and other long-term measures for DRR and the thing will continue. So we do that. So this is the SOP, which this document I will share again. I think it's not available, but it's a dynamic document. It keep evolving. Happy to have your inputs. Make it yours. Advise us how we can further improve it, and we look forward to that. And I do mention about the guidelines also. Maybe I do a quick sharing of that. So basically, whatever I've shared in terms of SOP, we have also put it together, especially the sectors, 6 sectors I spoke of. So in collaboration with the NIDM and Spain India, we have articulated everything more in detail as this guideline for each of the sectors. So wash, food, nutrition, shelter, health, protection, education, 6 guidelines, or 7th one is the animal inclusion, is already been published jointly with NIDM, and you people can look at these guidelines also, which is almost something that runs similar flow along the SOP, but it's more in details, elaborating the role of various stakeholders, what one need to do. It bring in some new things in the practice. Also is that we can look at doing the flash appeals. We can look at doing the joint appeal, humanitarian appeal to advocate for the to various agencies. So those steps are also included in here. I think there would be time for me to go through a lot of details of it, but the links of all the 6-7 guidelines, I'm happy to share that in the chat box, and please go through this, give your feedback, work on to make it your own. There's a plan. We are working with the NIDM to do trainings in each of the state on these guidelines. The modules have been developed, and they with each of the SDMA and the state network and the other state institutions. So there's a proposition. The calendar is there, NIDM or with the NIDM. This year there will be more detailed trainings happening, and that's the time. I think from our side, Maharashtra has been put on the priority list. We will get back to you as soon as the date is confirmed by the NIDM. And that's the time I think MAPICONET can lead these trainings. We will do it with the SDMA, Yashda, and others too, coming together. Okay. Yeah, so that's it. I think I'll share the link in the chat box, and I'm happy to take any quick questions. I think I've already taken more time, which was allocated to me, over for me.
Not at all, Vikrant. I think that was so comprehensive, so comprehensive. So I think, there is so much of value. And of course, this is a very short time because, like we said, we're going to have many more sessions based on this. But thank you very much for sharing all this information. And of course, we look forward to your support. And thank you. Yes, Lekha is a great asset. And we are so pleased that we have such a close relationship with Sphere India. Because I think, even at the national level, we need that connect from the state level. And so I think Sphere India is doing that awesome job of getting IAGs from across the country and making that happen. So thank you very much for all your support. And we look forward to more of that information that we can share with our members so that they can, take it forward. I think truly, truly comprehensive framework for looking at this. So unless there are any specific questions right now, which I don't see in the chat, I think we'll keep it more towards the end. So thank you very much, Vikrant, once again, and look forward to your contribution on the chat. If there are any questions, etc., please continue to engage our members. Yeah, great. So I think from the comprehensive framework that Vikrant shared with us, I think now we're going to hear about something that has happened on the ground by one of our members, and it's really awesome and heartwarming to hear that our meeting has had some effect. So I think with that, I'm going to ask Lekha to introduce the next speaker. I think it's not so much about speaker, but it's about member to share with us. So go ahead.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you, Vikrant, sir. So now I will be inviting Mr. Kenneth D'Souza, CEO of Grameen First Development Foundation, who majorly work in the Palghar district, and they will be talking about their monsoon preparedness planning and action. Over to you, Kenneth, sir.
Thank you and good morning to everybody. So first of all, I want to thank Mahapiconet for giving us this platform to share our very simple and very small planning that we did. Following Vikrant sir with the expansive and very detailed presentation, ours on the contrast is a very small micro effort that we are taking up in Palghar. And I want to say that this is not a definitive proven plan, but it's something that we reacted from the last meeting and decided to take forward. So basically it is not proven, not tested, but something of a small effort that I would like to share as a small NGO operating in Palghar. So basically when we started and we finished the previous Mahapiconet meeting, it made me think of what we could do as an organization in our project area of Palghar. And it made us think how we approach this. So basically what I'm sharing today is an approach. So basically as a small organization, we need to understand, and this is something that we learned through the COVID era, where there were, discussions about every organization taking up, emergency, disaster into their regular, and having it, mandated within the organization and creating budgetary allocations for that. Because usually we have our strict sectoral verticals, but now it is mandated in a very informal way that we should have something ready for things like COVID or natural disasters. So we realized that some time back, and we did have a mandate to work in, emergency food or emergency preparedness in healthcare or emergency preparedness in anything. So for our little area of Mokhada in Palghar, we found that we already had existing budgets. So we were quickly able to, take that decision forward and then say that, yes, who would be the stakeholders for this little program that we were doing for monsoon preparedness in Mokhada Taluka. So we quickly identified, wanted to realize who the stakeholders are, what the scope is, and what the scale should be. Once we could, identify the three S's, the stakeholders, the scope, and the scale, then we were immediately ready to just take forward meetings with the stakeholders. So I think it was the very next day that I requested a meeting with the SDO of Jawar Mokhada. And she told me that the government is having this monsoon preparedness meeting. So to just wait a day, and the next day she had a meeting. We invited several other NGOs, I think 6 or 7 NGOs who came to Jawar for that meeting. And then we understood that, the scope of the work at Mokhada, at least since where we focus is Mokhada, and decided how we would divide it among the NGOs And then we went back to our teams and decided what scale we would like to do. To understand the scale, we had meetings then with this beneficiary stakeholder group and going to the 3 villages that we had chosen. Once we understood and made a need assessment of the 3 villages, we realized that it was a multi-sectoral kind of demand, and that we would have to meet the demand on multi-sectors. So there were challenges in the monsoon with these 3 villages that get landlocked by rivers that are in spate, and that they cannot get out or they cannot move out. So there would be challenges on different sectors. So we understood from them what their needs would be, and now we are in the process of planning to meet those needs. But also, we need to understand that the planning has to be quick and fast because the rains have already begun. So it's like, planning on the run. And as we said last time, I think Dr. Thiru, who had told us that we need to even test our systems or, our SOPs of whatever we do. So we are in those final stages of planning and testing our SOPs. So in these 3 villages, this is our first approach in doing something on monsoon preparedness for 3 villages in Mokhada. And our team has, at least I would say our ground teams in Mokhada and in our office have, readily stood up to the challenge to do this while we are doing other projects. So starting our work in education, nutrition, agriculture, we are also doing the monsoon preparedness. So it has been a challenge, but I think every NGO has to learn how to respond to disaster or emergencies while doing their other work. And so this is a great learning for us. And I must say that finally at the Mahapiconet, there is even a greater learning opportunity to learn from others, to get guidance and support from the Mahapiconet platform. So I'm so glad that we are here and taking things forward on this platform of Mahapiconet. So that's a little that I can share, but I'm willing to take up questions for any further details, and I can share anything that is needed from us, SOPs and other things that we have created for this monsoon emergency response in Mokhada, Palghar. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kenneth. I think this has really been a lesson in, immediate reaction firstly, and taking back what you call it, meeting outcome and going and implementing on the ground. I think for us, nothing can be more satisfying than that we have, helped a member to think in that direction, because ultimately it is you who, do the work. But it is gratifying to know that. Also, I think what is important to see over here is, what Kenneth and his team, also Thaisa is here with us. So Thaisa, thank you so much also for being here. I think together how they have really ensured that they have brought other NGOs together, partnered together, and identified. So we have created a small SOP based on our conversations with Kenneth and how he has worked on this. And that Lekha will be sharing with you. We can share the PDF on the chat itself, Lekha, and then later on in the email will also be shared with everybody. So that is a good way to get started in a very simple manner. As you said, we want to keep things, sometimes we don't have, it's not so easy, we don't have people, we don't have so many things, we are so much constrained sometimes. So we try to keep it as simple so that we can work together, and share our information. Yeah. So great. I think thank you again, once again, Kenneth. And of course, if there are any questions, please put it in the chat box, and we will have time for sharing by all the other members as well at the end of the this thing. We just want to set the context and share the basic information first, and then get into more deeper conversations with the rest of the members as well in a little bit. Yeah. So with that, Lekha, may I please request you to introduce our next speaker. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Now I would like to invite Mr. Mandar Vaidya, Program Director of Radar India, to let us know about the capacity building trainings for needs assessment that is being provided by Radar India. Mandar sir, over to you.
Okay, good morning, everyone. Radar India is primarily a technical support agency in disaster management, disaster risk reduction, and disaster response. And in this purview, we have been strengthening capacities, local capacities of governments, district administrations, and civil society partners. And in that context, we are partnering now with district administration of Ratnagiri based on last year's experience uh, of disasters in Ratnagiri, landslides plus floods. The project has started just in the month of May. And in the first 2 months, we are able to reach out to 17 local NGOs who are willing to coordinate with government during emergencies. And we had, under the leadership of residential district collector, we had a meeting of these NGOs. These NGOs have also filled up their registration forms to become GeoNGO platform members at the district level. Apart from this, as part of facilitating, strengthening pre-monsoon preparedness, we have had meetings with 5 departments at Jilla Parishad. They include ICDS, health, water sanitation, Panchayat Raj, and education. So we have created a checklist to understand how these departments have prepared to cope with the effects of extreme monsoon or landslides if something happens, with the perspective of service continuity even during disaster. So that is a quick update on the work which we are doing in Ratnagiri. In Ratnagiri, we found that district administration has already geared up towards strengthening monsoon preparedness, and they have started their meetings with SDMA, DDMA, and the departments, which we also participated in. And it seems that if something happens this year, then district administration and NGOs together are in position to respond as better as they can. So that is from Ratnagiri. Apart from this, as we have discussed in the last meeting, we are also associated with MahaPicoNet as members, and from our project we have provision of 4 webinars. So these 4 webinars for MahaPiconet's partners will be conducted in Marathi, and they will primarily be on emergency needs assessment based on last year's experience on JRNA, which we had, and we had lot of coordination, communicating with communities, and then consolidating data from the app, and then producing the report. It was a long process, and we were able to send our report to Government of Maharashtra, which was appreciated a lot. And it was done with Spear India and MahaPicoNet together. We did it. So this year, to strengthen our emergency needs assessment process, we will be having 4 webinars, 2 hours each in Marathi. One is on understanding the nature of emergencies, which is very important. Like for example, in every emergency, most vulnerable population actually suffers and their needs are unaddressed. So in the first webinar, we will be looking at the nature of emergencies and the needs of most vulnerable during disasters. So how do we really look at the needs? Now when we think of needs, it is something very different than compensation. Many times what happens is that government come up with the package, compensation package, but it is not essential, or it is not necessary that all the unfulfilled needs which are there for the well-being of affected population, as well as for the survival of the disaster affected communities, we need to look at their critical needs so that we will be able to roll out our response in timely and quality manner. So that is the first topic, understanding emergencies and response, response and needs of the most vulnerable during disaster. Second topic of the webinar is understanding disaster management cycle and types of needs assessment conducted in every stage of disaster cycle. it was well stated in Vikrant's presentation that where to stop response and where to start recovery. So it is all related with the mm, changing needs of the community and how community is recovering from the effects of the disasters. So at the every stage of disaster management cycle, the needs change, and that's how we have different types of needs assessment to be conducted at every stage before getting into the next stage of disaster management cycle. So the second webinar will speak about that, and the third webinar is basically we will be discussing about the sectors of humanitarian response, where we as Mahapiconet are already working on sectors through our thematic groups. However, during emergencies, we need to look at the sector and sectoral needs more specifically. There are critical sectors which are related with the facilities like water sanitation, uh, food distribution. Then there are services related to nutrition. So these are few sectors which are core sectors, and then there are certain cross-cutting issues or cross-cutting themes as well, where there are certain needs of affected population which can be seen through child protection in emergencies. Then there are gender issues during emergencies. There are certain special attention of the citizens who are affected. So we'll be looking at the cross-cutting themes also in this third webinar. Fourth webinar is about the joint rapid needs assessment, JRNA, which we actually did last year, and we'll be looking specifically into JRNA. And also we'll be looking into the role of partners, how quickly we can reach out to the communities, how quickly we can come back with the data, how quickly we can analyze that data and produce the report for a unified response strategy or recommendations, advocacy for better response from the government side. So these are the four webinars which we have planned to conduct with Mahapiconet partners. And these webinars will be in Marathi. We are taking significant efforts to convert many of our presentations in Marathi. And we will also be contextualizing all these webinars to the Maharashtra context. Like, for example, we have heard the story of Palghar before this, so from Gramin. So now we need to look at very context specific, localized kind of response and localized kind of capacity building. So we will be contextualizing all these webinars to Maharashtra scenario as well. So this is first part of capacity building with Mahapiconet, which we will be doing remotely. And we also we also have one more training course in our project, which is for strengthening thematic groups of Mahapiconet. Now we have our own titles of the thematic groups, but when it comes to humanitarian response, they are again classified into certain sectors. So we want to link humanitarian sectors with our thematic groups, and we can explore more possibilities of strengthening our actions in disaster management, starting from disaster response towards disaster resilience. So the four areas which this training course will be focusing on. This training course is also being developed in Marathi and will be contextualized to Maharashtra scenario. We'll be also looking at GO-NGO coordination in this training course. So first one is first sector, which we'll be looking at housing and basic services, which is important thematic area for us. Then second is social protection and rights and entitlement, which actually fits into sphere handbooks cross-cutting themes. Then third area is that skills development, employment, entrepreneurship, and livelihood. And fourth one is climate change, adaptation, and community resilience. So these are the four areas on which we are developing training module, and we expect this training to be conducted somewhere in after Diwali, so that all of us will be coming out of monsoon. All our fresh experiences of preparedness and response will be with us, and we'll be taking that training course forward. So I think that's it from my side. I wish that our, as per the localization agenda, uh, uh, Mahapiconet is doing significant work of strengthening localized capacities of local actors on disaster. I will say disaster management overall. It's not only disaster response, but it also includes disaster recovery and disaster resilience. So that is a significant work which we are doing through our platform, and I'm very glad to be part of it. Thank you very much, Karen and the team, for giving this opportunity to Radar India for the presentation.
Thank you very much, Mandar. I think we are eagerly waiting for the webinars. I am sure they are going to be of so much value. और सबसे बड़ी बात तो ये है कि वो मराठी में होने वाली है, which means it will be really, something that can be taken to the grassroots and to all team members on the ground, जहाँ पे उसकी बहुत ज़रूरत है. So I think that is the most important thing of this, and I really hope that all our members will ensure that they encourage all their team members to be a part of this training program, and all their field staff, etc., which is why also it is kept virtually, ताकि सब join हो सके और इसका फायदा उठाए. So I think we are really looking forward to that, Mandar. We are planning the dates for these 4 webinars. And we actually want to get a little bit of maybe feedback from the group. Okay, would you all prefer this to be on a weekend? Would you prefer to be on a weekday? Mandar, if you also have any preference and suggestions, you could maybe put it over here so that we can finalize this very quickly. From the following week itself, we would like to do it at least 1 per week, so how would you like us to do it, etc. Maybe if we can just maybe share a little bit on the logistic front. What are you thinking and how you plan to take it forward? I think that will be excellent, if you don't mind.
Actually, it took a little bit longer time for us to come back with the framework, because it is taking more efforts for translating things. We want to, what we call it in Maharashtra, Marathi is, we don't want literal translation. We want bhavarth to come out, so that we understand the content as well as the spirit behind the humanitarian work in needs assessment. So we are ready with the first 2, and we can roll it out even back-to-back days, and then we can take a 1 week of the break, and then we can go ahead. We are fine with any of the day. We don't have any problem with weekends or weekdays. But I would prefer evening time. After finishing all our work, we come together and we start discussing.
Okay, great. Thanks so much, Mandar, again. What I would request all the members, to do is maybe put your suggestions in the chat box. In terms of, as Mandar said, that maybe have it in the evening, on a weekday, weekend, maybe. So we can't promise that we can meet everybody's needs, but we definitely want to make sure that we take your inputs, and so that we can meet the maximum requirement and maximum feedback that we get, we put it into our decision making as a secretariat. So please do use the chat box effectively. As I said, we want to give everybody a voice. हर किसी को मतलब उनका राय देना ही चाहिए. तो please put it in the chat box and let us know what you think. When would you like to have this training program? And I think a weekly thing would be good, because we are already almost in the, we already are in the monsoon period, and we would like to kind of quickly get the benefit of this as soon as possible. So I think definitely what you call it, a weekly would be a good frequency. And maybe evening also. Kenneth also has put here as evening. So yes, we would definitely this thing. Yes, Satish,
I just have one more point. If Vikrant is still here, for the last last webinar, I would also like to invite someone from Sphere for JRNA explanation as well. That will be a great input from Sphere India.
Sure, sure. We can always request them for sure, and we can make that happen as well. Not a problem. Yeah. So great. Please keep posting in the chat box what you think in terms of the timing and the days, etc. I think everybody seems to be clear for a weekday, so that is more or less settled. Now we only need to look at the timing, whether in the morning or in the evening. So the more input we get from you, the better our decision making will be for the benefit of all our members. Yeah. All right, great. Thank you once again, Amanda. As I said, we are eagerly looking forward to the training programs and to take this further, and the amazing work that Radar is doing, as well as the wealth of knowledge and experience. I think we are hoping that we can, help our members benefit from that via our relationship with you. So thank you very much once again. And yeah, Lekha, over to you once again.
थैंक यू मैम. अभी मैं मिस्टर भूपेंद्र मिश्रा, फाउंडर ऑफ रेजिलिएंट फाउंडेशन को इनवाइट करना चाहूंगी, जो हमें फर्स्ट रिस्पॉन्डर ट्रेनिंग के बारे में बताएंगे. भूपेंद्र सर, ओवर टू यू.
Thank you, Lekha. Thank you, Mahapikonet, for this opportunity. So I'll keep it short because there are multiple things that have been already shared. I'll share about us, what we are doing and how we are doing it. So when we look at the disaster management from outside, it looks very complex. Because it is multi-sectoral, there are multiple hazards to be addressed. So when we started this intervention in 2018 in disaster management, we identified किस तरीके के प्रोग्राम चल रहे हैं, क्या क्या रिस्पॉन्स चल रहे हैं, and ये पता चला कि there are multiple interventions happening in the relief and response. जब भी कोई डिजास्टर आता है तो एवरीवन नोज कि हम जो भी चीजें लगती हैं वो लेकर चले जाते हैं, बट अगेन देयर इज अगेन अ डिजास्टर. we'll talk it separately someday. But we also identified कि एक एरिया है प्रिवेंशन प्रिपेयर्डनेस जो इम्पोर्टेंट साइकिल का हिस्सा है, उस पर बहुत ज्यादा इंटरवेंशंस नहीं हो रहे हैं तो बहुत थोड़े हो रहे हैं. एंड वी पिक प्रिवेंशन प्रिपेयर्डनेस एज अ कोर एरिया एंड वी स्टार्टेड बिल्डिंग कैपेसिटीज अराउंड इट. So from 2018 we are like fortunate to have supported by various other organizations like Sphere India, Mahapikonet, Yuva, Seeds India, and other organizations. We built capacities of 2,500 people in middle of COVID in Uttarakhand. In-person training, we built capacities on emergency preparedness. Last year we worked with Mahapikonet and Yuva and built capacities of various organizations including IIWY, Helping Hand Charitable Trust, and Arohan in Palghar and Nagpur, another area, on emergency preparedness. Last year हमने highway traffic police के साथ भी काम किया, and we build their capacities on basic life support and first aid so that we can save more lives on highway accident. And interestingly, recently we were in updated कि जिनको हमने training दिया, they have already saved 1,000 plus lives on the highway. Currently we are working with schools in the Palghar on school safety, also working with few organizations to build their capacity as a first responder. So various work is going around on first aid because we believe there are quite research available, and we also believe that if we invest $1 in prevention and preparedness, we will save $7 in return. And that's why एक ये भी है कि फर्स्ट रिस्पॉन्डर, जब हम देखते हैं कि फर्स्ट रिस्पॉन्डर की डेफिनेशन क्या है या कौन है फर्स्ट रिस्पॉन्डर, तो हम समझते हैं कि ये जो फायर ब्रिगेड्स हैं या एनडीआरएफ, एसडीआरएफ आर द फर्स्ट रिस्पॉन्डर, बट वी ऑल मस्ट एग्री कि वी आर द फर्स्ट रिस्पॉन्डर हु आर फेसिंग द डिजास्टर्स. और अगर इनकी कैपेसिटी बिल्ड करी जाए तो वी कैन रिड्यूस द लॉस बाय 80%. सो देयर आर क्वाइट इनफ रिसर्च अवेलेबल एंड वी आर वर्किंग ऑन इट, एंड आई होप वी विल हैव मल्टीपल पार्टनर टू जॉइन हैंड्स टुगेदर, एंड वी ऑलरेडी इन अ डिस्कशन विद various organizations, and we will build this first responder team and resilience in various communities across Maharashtra, across India, and probably globally. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, Bhupendra. I think the work you're doing is so amazing and so required. And, I think there is a lot for us to learn from what you're doing, and I'm sure it'll be of benefit to our members. So we look forward to, somewhere arranging a session like this I know that your training is mostly physical training. We need a physical space to do that. But let's see what is possible, and maybe a combination of something of that kind. We will see based on how our members think and feel about this. So with that, I really thank you once again for sharing your expertise, and of course look forward to you continuing as a member, key member of the coalition, and supporting the network further with your work. So thank you very
Thank you.
Yeah, great, awesome. So I think we've come to the end of our formal sharing by members and experts. Okay. Of course, our other members and experts in the group are plenty, which is why we've kept enough time to have that as well. First and foremost, I think I would just very quickly, if Matthew is able to speak. So we have our GC members with us as well. Okay.
Yes,
Background.
thank you, Karun. I'm just traveling, therefore there will be some disturbance. I think we had a very wonderful presentation, both from the sphere and also from Mandar, and I think we are also, Mandar shared that there will be a webinar happening, and along with also we are thinking of whether we could have a physical training. And very often, webinars help us, but coming together, asking questions and learning from each other, there will be a lot of scope. So we were also proposing a kind of a physical training sometime on 14th, 15th and 16th of July. I know sometime it will be very late, but however, understanding need assessment and also preparing ourselves for, better any eventuality coming. So we were also thinking of having a kind of a physical training central to everybody to come together. It may be, based on certain contributions, and that we are proposing. I think Mandar also could share on that. And I think a time has come that we need to prepare ourselves. And few district government like Satara and Ratnagiri are there very active, and they are also already started the, this,
Did we lose Matthew?
and also, hello.
Yeah, go ahead, Matthew. Manda, just one more second and then.
Yeah, I also feel that, we also need to identify a list of people whom we need to face any event. Things eventuality happens next during this rainy season. Over to you, Karan.
Yes, thank you so very much, Matthew. I think that's a great suggestion as well. That while we do the online training from MahaPicoNet because it is because all our members are in such diverse locations, we have to do that virtually so that maximum benefit from it. But yes, if there are any specific training program that can be arranged physically, whether it is by Radar, whether it is by the Resilient Foundation, we would of course encourage our members to explore that and kind of look at that. So Mandar, if you want to come in and maybe quickly say a few words on what Matthew has suggested, please do.
Yeah, actually, thank you, Matthew, for bringing this up. We have been discussing this since past 1 month with CYDA, Radar and CYDA. And we, as Matthew gave the dates, 14th, 15th, and 16th of July, we will be doing it for the grassroots workers. The training will be in Marathi. And as per yesterday's brainstorming with CYDA, the title of the training will be Emergency Needs Assessment and Response Project Planning. So 3 days of the training course in Pune that is being planned. The rest of the logistics is being discussed, and we'll come back to all the partners and NGOs with that. Thank you, Matthew and Karen, for this.
Absolutely, absolutely. Please do share the details and information. We're happy to share it with our members, which will help to support them also in strengthening their efforts on the ground. So thank you so very much. Yeah, great. Awesome. Okay, Mansi, you mentioned on the chat about the training that you had have done with government. Would you like to please come in and share a little bit for the rest of our members, please?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Karen. Thanks, everyone. I think there's so much with the monsoon already on us. I think there's so much that needs to be done. And I think even we jumped into this a little bit late into the scheme of events. But just a little bit about the training. So this is a training that the Maharashtra Disaster Management Department already offers, part of their larger Apada Mitra training which they offer at their centers and in communities, but that's a much longer, whether a 2-day or a 15-day training. So depending on the intensity. But when we felt that, particular communities where we were working or living in landslide prone areas, these bastis are located on hills, and regularly every year they have some amount of a landsliding event, and it's detrimental to life and also movement, livelihood, and it also affects a lot of the mental health of the community. So we did have a conversation with them about what would be possible, and proposed that it's actually very essential, like Bhupendra was actually pointing out, is that people in the community are trained to understand the nature of the disaster. At one level, the prevention, what can be done earlier, but also preparedness as to what can be done if the disaster happens, because even the disaster management department admits that it takes them 2 to 3 hours to get a good amount of force there to be able to recover people and assets. So this training is actually a hands-on training that they offer, a half-day training. And right now their focus is, of course, since the disaster management department is of the BMC, within Mumbai, and within Mumbai also, like I highlighted, right now they're looking at working in the most landslide prone area. So that is the L ward, which is this Kurla, Asalfa side, and N and S ward, which is Vikhroli and Bhandup, closer to Parkside. So if any NGOs are actually working in bastis over there, they would be very keen to do those trainings. It's, like I said, it's a half-day training. They're willing to do it any day of the week. And offer it even, we've been doing it largely on Sundays, because that's when we see the community members are have the most time and are willing to go through this training. Again, this training is hands-on, so of course there is some amount of dialogue as to what is the nature of a disaster, but then what are the kind of relief and rescue and first aid treatments that can be performed by community members. So I actually feel like it's a very good one, and if anyone is willing to work on this, we can connect you to the department. Priority areas being L ward, N ward, and S ward. But if you have any others, then we can talk to them and connect you there as well. So yeah, I hope that offers background, and we'd be willing, of course, any Mahapi Connect member, if you are willing to do this. Thanks.
Great. Thank you so much, Mansi, for sharing that with us. And as I said, and this is a request of all members and of course our GC members, that anyone who has information that can be shared with us, of course in advance is better still, but even if it is post, do let us know, because we would love to share it with the rest of our members so that they can benefit from it and we can all learn together, So we look forward to you sharing that information with us, Mansi, and anything else that you all are doing, which will be of value. We would really appreciate your support and help in doing that. Yeah, thank you so very much once again. Yeah, so I think with that, we can of course open it out. If there is anybody else would like to speak or share information about what they are doing in disaster preparedness, or for monsoon, or even drought. I think, one of the problems that we are now going to be facing is also drought, because the monsoons is still not yet started in full swing, and we are seeing that the possibility of drought happening. So if there is any thoughts, actions, anybody doing anything at all in this part, please feel free to share it with us right now. Or if you have any specific questions, okay, कोई भी अगर सवाल पूछना हो तो please ये time है करने के लिए, so please do that, and we'll try our best to support and answer whatever is possible or share whatever is possible. So yeah, anybody?
Yes, madam. Yes. Yes,
Yes,
madam.
Nilima, go
Hello,
ahead.
madam. Yes, I am Nilima. Hello, everyone. Good morning, madam. Just I want to ask Mandar sir, first of all, that is there organization working in Kolhapur? Because from last 5 years we have faced a problem of flood.
Right.
And second thing, I want to ask Mansi madam that is she interested in work in Kolhapur? Is her organization? Because lot of lime said जैसे कि इसका जो प्रॉब्लम है वो कोल्हापुर में बार बार हो रहा है मैडम, फ्लड का हो नहीं तो लैंडस्लाइड का हो, तो अगर कोई ऑर्गेनाइजेशन कोल्हापुर में आती है तो इट्स अ गुड थिंग फॉर ऑल द सिटीजन्स ऑफ कोल्हापुर. थैंक यू मैडम. थैंक यू.
Yeah, so Nilima, last year also during the floods, many of our members, partners, and even our GC members have worked in both Kolhapur, Sangli, in that entire area. So I'm sure that there will be a lot of support that is available if God forbid anything does happen. But at the same time, if Mansi or Mandar or anybody wants to speak about any contacts or resources that are available in Kolhapur that Nilima could possibly reach out to or be in touch with or get connected with, then I think that will be a great way to support Nilima and her efforts in Kolhapur. I think. Yeah.
Oh, thank you, madam. Thank you.
Sure. Absolutely. Yeah, I think that's the basic idea of the MahaPicoNet, is to constantly look at ways to support each other, connect each other to other resources. So yes, if as I said, if Mandar or Mansi can respond to Nilima on Kolhapur in specific, then that's great. Otherwise, of course, later on can be done, one-on-one as well. Yeah.
Sure. नीलिमा, अगर आप अपना नंबर चैट बॉक्स में शेयर कर सकते हैं तो हम अपने जो भी कांटेक्ट है डीएम डिपार्टमेंट में हम पूछते हैं कि कोल्हापुर का कोई कांटेक्ट है, क्योंकि हमारा काम अभी तक कोल्हापुर में नहीं है, पर हम डेफिनेटली कनेक्ट करने के लिए तैयार है अगर उनके कोई रिसोर्स पर्सन है.
यस मैम, मैं अपना नंबर चैट बॉक्स में दे रही हूँ मैडम. ओके मैडम, थैंक यू. ओके, थैंक यू.
There are few other NGOs who are also involved in disaster response in Kolhapur, Sangli, and Satara. So I can also share their contacts with Mansi. And also let us find out who is now looking after who is DDMO there. Actually, DDMO is the best resource to get in touch with district magistrate or DDMO.
Right.
So I will provide his contact number also.
Yeah. So Mandar, if I could request you to share the details with Lekha, Mansi as well, so that we can of course have that on record with us as well. And again, if there are other members or partners who need that support, it'll be great for us to share that with them as well.
Okay, I can do it on the group as well. I will do it.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so very much on that. Appreciate it. Okay. Great. So Nilima, I hope you. Yes. Anybody else?
Can I come in, Karen?
Yes, absolutely. Please, Nitin.
Thank you, Karen. So basically, very nice, and I think it was a wonderful, informative session today. Most importantly, we got very good feedback from the grassroots level partners like Kenneth and even Bhupendra, who have been doing a fantastic job. So while we are definitely SOPs, guidelines are all very, very important and provides us a way forward. It is also important to get the grassroots level feedback on what is happening and what are the challenges these NGOs are facing, so that corrective action can be taken. I have a couple of points which I wanted to share. One thing is like this Nilima from Kolhapur. I think over a period of time, we should all create a small directory of all NGO partners, working on different thematic areas, and we should all get connected, because during time of disaster, if we already have the right contacts there, it will help in quick response, or even getting feedback or any surveys done or any relief activity happening. So a directory of all NGOs who are part of the MahaPicoNet platform, and new NGOs can be added, like Mr. Mandar said, that there are many NGOs working there who can be part of the group. So that will definitely help us in strengthening our MahaPicoNet group. That's point number one. DDMOs, definitely, they are very, very essential and important. So information about all the DDMOs across Maharashtra should be available with the platform, and there should be a regular interaction and coordination with them on what is the preparedness part being taken care by the DDMOs or the state government. They have a series of meetings, they have a series of training sessions, but do we know about it? Can NGOs be invited for such trainings and meetings? Unless and until we know what are the gaps, what are the challenges the government is facing, and what is the support they are expecting NGOs to provide, I think it is going to be still a big gap, and we will all be working independently in different directions, which again doesn't serve the purpose. So it's very important that there should be a improved government and NGO partnership, specifically with respect to preparedness, which should normally happen at least 3 to 4 months before the climate change and season, which is impacting the state. So these are a couple of things which I thought I will share. I'll give you an example of the Raigad district. Recently, our NGO partner was there, and I wanted to get some feedback on the number of shelter homes, because last year Raigad and Ratnagiri had very bad floods and landslide, and a lot of loss of lives were there. So I was surprised. I mean, despite all this situation, I got the names of only 2 shelter homes in the entire district of Raigad, which is shocking, I would say. That means the preparedness part, if we are really discussing about that, first and foremost is how we can save lives during a disaster. And if there are only 2 shelter homes in a huge district like Raigad, at least the official data I have is only 2 shelter homes. I think it is very shocking. So something needs to be done on that count. We need to have correct information. We need to work closely. What are the problems and challenges with the disaster management cell is facing, the district level challenges what they are facing, and what is the support they are expecting NGOs? Because just giving a list of items which are required, like water bottles or biscuit packets and all that stuff, these are all things which can be taken care. That's not a problem. This is the part of the relief work which can be done. But the preparedness part is sadly, I felt a lot needs to be done as a part of preparedness. So, this has been some of my observations, and I thought I'll share it with the group. And all NGOs working in different parts of Maharashtra, if we can get connected with the disaster management cell and periodically have interaction, understand what is the plan in that area and what is the type of training they are going to provide, etc. And how NGOs can be also part of such trainings and the plans. That will help a lot. So that's from my side, Karen.
Great. Thank you very much, Nitin. And we, of course, always look to our GC members to guide us and, help us in terms of making sure that we're doing the right thing to support the members. So thank you very much for that as well. And of course, I think, at the end of the day, we have to understand that it is all of us, right? Because there is native intelligence and knowledge with every member, right? All of us have got our social networks, all of us have got our connects. The more we are willing to share with each other, the more we are willing to look at ourselves as a collective and work together, I think the better we'll be able to achieve better impact and help the people on the ground more. And of course, that is the whole purpose of the secretariat, is to help that and facilitate that, to make it happen, as transparently as openly as possible. So the more information that you share with us, the better we'll be able to share with the rest of the people. And if there is any opportunity to connect with government or activities that are happening with the government, please let us know. Again, we are more than happy to talk to them or coordinate and facilitate something further with them as well. So we look forward to more of that information happening, and the more that happens, and of course, as you all know, Lekha and Shilpa has been in touch with all members, talking about what they're doing. So if you share that information, we'll put it up. I will talk a little bit more about the directory that you mentioned, Nitin, in a bit. I rather take some more questions till then, and then I'll talk at the end. Yeah. So I think Mandar has had his hand up for some time. So Mandar, very quickly, and then I will talk to Safana and Bhupendra. Yeah.
I won't take much time. I just wanted to give references. One is that there are 2 GRs, one by NDMA orders, not GRs, orders, one by NDMA, another one is by Disaster Management Unit, where they have given instructions to district administration for having formal GO-NGO coordination forum. One was from the June or July 2021. Another one, Maharashtra one, is from September. I'm just trying to find those GRs in my laptop.
Please.
And share them with Shilpa and Lekha and the group as well. So that is one point. Second point is that this DDMOs, it takes long time to develop rapport with them. But if we become more formal with them, with reference to GRs and Act and everything, it becomes easier to get in touch with RDCs. RDCs, once RDC is ordered to DDMO for helping NGO, then it happens. So these are just two guidances I wanted to speak about. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mandar. Look forward to that information and of course to share it with our members as well. Yeah. Yes, Safala, you wanted to say a few words very quickly.
Yeah, hi Karen. This is Dr. Safala Shroff from Metropolis Foundation, and thank you. I think this is a wonderful forum. This is my first time on MahaPicoNet, and I just wanted to take forward what Mr. Nitin and Mandar have been saying. Whether in the manual or the SOP, we have considered getting training done by doctors. There are many doctors who provide voluntary training for first aid. So actually, when you look at disaster management, what to do if you have a drowning in front of you, what to do if you have a landslide and there is a fracture in front of you, what to do if there is an electrocution. This kind of, I can connect to certain organizations who can give this training even in the COVID period. A lot of them has been done even on Zoom. I think it's very important to complete the circle, not just prevention. Even when you said first responders, most of the time first responders are citizens, who are there. So if we can have our social workers and those who are actually in the community, helping hands, have this kind of basic first aid information, I think that would help. So do let me know if you need to connect to any doctors who will give this training free of cost to any organization.
That would be really, really awesome. And we would thank you for, suggesting this. So we could definitely work together and arrange those kind of trainings and, take it further from that point. So thank you very much for sharing that with us. It's definitely very, very welcome. So Bhupendra next, and then, after that, if you don't mind, please. Yeah. Yeah. Bhupendra, go ahead.
I haven't raised my hand, Karen.
Oh, I thought I saw your hand raised. Okay, sorry. So Dr. Henna, then one doctor after another. Dr. Henna, please go ahead. Thank you.
First and foremost, our congratulations for this initiative. And Vikrant has already given a presentation at the outset, but I was just wanting to re-emphasize and flag what Nitin, what Mandar were saying just now.
Dr. Henna, we've lost you. Your voice.
Hello?
Yes.
Am I audible?
Yes,
Yeah.
now you're back.
So we have a lot of, we don't have any dearth of NGOs, CBOs, foot soldiers who know a lot about, what happens during the preparedness phase, early warning phase, response phase, and relief phase. So we need to come out with a checklist, a set of activities of what to do, and then somehow need to integrate and, institutionalize these sector preparedness plans on health, on various other sectors. How to make it happen, talk about these GRs, and with reference of which we can approach the government and the district authorities to see how these sectoral preparedness plans are being made. We have some very good practices across the country in many states where UNICEF and some other organizations have technically supported the sectoral line departments on establishing and developing these sectoral preparedness plans. The trainings and the other parts of the activities are offshoots of these preparedness plans. So our endeavor, the endeavor of MahaPicoNet in the state, should also be to kind of influence and try to see how we can get into institutionalizing these sectoral preparedness plans of giving a lot of we can do some initial consultations whereby we can collect information, we can know more about the standard templates of how these can be prepared, and together with the government can then take it to a next level. I think the allocations of resources also later on largely happen based on these plans and the checklists and the activities that have been formulated. That's something that I wanted to flag. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, Dr. Henna. I think what you said is very, very true. And, as you know, we do have the 4 thematics of the MahaPicoNet as well. And those have been created exactly for that reason, so that we don't only look at disaster as an overarching thing, but also look at disaster from a very specific thematic point of view, sectoral point of view. So those of you who are new and attending the MahaPicoNet meeting for the first time, firstly, we hope you will sign up as members, because that helps us to keep you in touch and keep you updated with the information, as well as keep a constant flow of connects with you. But also that we have 4 thematics which you can be a part of, 2 of them out of the 4, just to keep focus, so that you're not in every group. And plus, I'm sure you don't want to have the same message coming to you from 4 different groups, right? So therefore, we would encourage you to sign up at the earliest, and get the information that is coming. And again, as we said earlier as well, we really appreciate the support of Sphere India and the work that you're doing at the national level. So any information, knowledge that you can share with us, and guidance that you can provide us, we would be most appreciative about that. So thank you once again, Dr. Hina, for making that, sharing that with us. Great. Okay, anybody else wants to share what they're doing? And yes, I want to also acknowledge what Nishit said in the chat box. Thank you very much, Nishit, for sharing that with us. We will look forward to you definitely sharing it with the rest of the group, and we will arrange for that in the next meeting. Yeah, because I think anything that our members are doing that is entrepreneurial. As you all can remember, our whole PicoNet is on the model of partnership, entrepreneurship, and what you call it, citizenship. So I think citizens we all are, because we are all working with our constituents on the ground and want to take the best to them. But many of us also have special solutions and services that could be of great value to the other members. And so anybody who's got those kind of ideas, solutions, innovations to share with the rest of the group, please do let us know, and we'll be happy to make and give the platform to you to share it with the rest of them. So Nishit, we look forward to talking with you further and taking it up with the rest of the team. Yeah. Anybody else, if you would like to share what you call it, any other information or questions, or like I said, activities that you're doing on the ground, please do come in now. Yeah. Yes, Lloyd, please come, please come, please come.
Yeah, my name is Loy Rego, and I am from the Mainstreaming Practitioners Network. The focus is more on preparedness and risk reduction and building resilience rather than response. But having said that, I am extremely supportive of people doing response as well as later supporting recovery. And the simple point I want to make is that one of our focus, we've focused on 2 states in the country, and one of them is Maharashtra, and within that some selected districts. And we work in close partnership with both Radar in Maharashtra in particular, and Seeds also in Maharashtra and in Uttarakhand. Yeah, I think that's enough for me to say for now. But I am very pleased to join this. This is the first time I'm attending a so-called MahaPicoNet, if I've got the acronym right, for the first time. But I am extremely impressed, and very happy to hear this. So I look forward to being part of you. I will select probably shelter or education as the group that I will relate to. Thank you.
Great.
Happy to answer any questions.
Absolutely. And thank you very much, Loy, for joining us. I think your experience and knowledge is like immense in this field, and it is definitely a privilege to have you with us. And please, yes, do fill up the membership form. Shilpa, who is our other colleague in the MahaPicoNet Secretariat, who's actually working on the thematics itself, has shared the link. So please do, fill that up at the earliest, so that we can quickly add you then to the groups as well. We don't just want silent members, we want members who are actually working together. So so please do that. Yeah. Great. So with that, I think, is there anybody else और किसी को कुछ भी पूछना है या बताना है कि क्या हो रहा है वगैरह, प्लीज बात कर लीजिएगा. अगर मराठी में भी बात करना है तो देयर इज एब्सोल्युटली नो प्रॉब्लम. हम सब हिंदी मराठी दोनों समझते हैं, तो प्लीज जॉइन अस. यस दिव्या, प्लीज कम.
हाय, थैंक यू किरण. मुझे एक इंफॉर्मेशन शेयर करना था सभी पार्टनर्स और मेंबर्स के साथ में. एक अभी इंटरनेशनल एक अवार्ड के लिए एक हमने सर्कुलर शेयर किया था सभी हमारे पार्टनर्स और मेंबर्स के साथ में. वो इनोवेशन को लेके है. अगर पिछले कुछ सालों में आपके ऑर्गेनाइजेशन ने या आपके ग्रुप ने या आपके कंसोर्शियम ने इंक्लूसिवनेस को लेके कुछ इनोवेटिव कोई भी या तो प्रोसेस या कोई टूल या फिर कोई प्रोजेक्ट किया है, तो आप उसमें अप्लाई कर सकते हैं. और उसमें जो अवार्ड मनी है दैट इज अराउंड इन इंडियन करेंसी इट्स अराउंड 60 लाख. तो वो जो टॉप फाइनलिस्ट 3 to 5 लोग होंगे उनमें इक्वली डिवाइड होगी, और वो उस मनी को एज ए किसी भी उसी सेम प्रोजेक्ट में या किसी और प्रोजेक्ट में यूज कर सकते हैं. तो मैं इसमें लिंक डाल रही हूँ उसका, उस प्रोसेस का, और मैं महापिकोनेट ग्रुप में भी उसे शेयर कर रही हूँ. तो जो भी पार्टनर इंटरेस्टेड हैं वो अप्लाई कर सकते हैं. और कोई भी गाइडेंस, कोई भी सपोर्ट उसमें चाहिए तो हमारी टीम के 2 मेंबर्स हैं. आई विल कनेक्ट दोज मेंबर्स विद यू. सो कहीं भी आपको कुछ भी अगर ज्यादा इन्फॉर्मेशन चाहिए, डिटेल चाहिए, दे विल हेल्प यू इन दैट.
Thank you very much, Divya. Always look forward to your support and your enthusiasm at every point to support the sector and help people. So we definitely appreciate that. And yes, we will be applying. Mahapiconet will definitely apply without a doubt for this. So that will be really great to do that. Yeah. But thank you for sharing that information, and we hope that others also apply, because I think it's not just about the prize money. Of course, that is great, but I think also when you apply for an award, or you apply for a process like this, you yourself, the questions make you think much more, and therefore helps you to strengthen your programs better, because then you understand the gaps in what perhaps you did not do or what you have not yet addressed. And so I think it's really a good thing to do this. So please, especially when the process is robust, I think being part of that process itself is a great learning experience, and helps us to design our programs and interventions better. So thank you very much again, Divya, for sharing that with us. Awesome.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Any other thoughts, questions?
Hello.
Yes.
I am Ashadul. I am from Assam. तो हम लोग फर्स्ट टाइम आज ज्वाइन किया महापिकोनेट में. तो जैसे कि आप लोग का एसओपी जो भी हम लोग आज बातचीत सुना है, बहुत अच्छा लगा. और मेरे साथ मेरा कलीग नाओमी, हम लोग वो भी ज्वाइन किया.
हेलो, दिस इज नाओमी एंड वी वर्क विद आशा अल्ट्रिज्म सोसाइटी ओनर असिस्टेंट्स. तो एक्चुअली हमारा काम कोविड से शुरू हुआ था. तो कोविड का जैसा यहाँ पे ब्लॉक का डेटा से हमको मिला था कि अराउंड 70% लोग वैक्सीनेशन नहीं लेना चाह रहे थे. तो फिर हम लोग कोविड में लग गए थे. तो फिर अचानक से ये बारिश और फ्लड आ गया था. तो हम लोग थोड़ा रेस्पॉन्ड करने में वो हम लोग को मतलब नहीं पता चल रहा था कि क्या करना है. और ये बहुत ज्यादा इस बार फ्लड, मतलब जो रिवर का लेवल था वो मतलब जो हाईएस्ट लेवल से ऊपर चला गया था. तो आज जो हमको बहुत कुछ सीखने मिला है, और भी आगे मतलब हम सीखना चाहेंगे बहुत सारी चीज़ें आप लोगों से. और बहुत अच्छा लगा कि ये एक बड़ा लेवल पे हम लोग कनेक्ट कर पाया है, क्योंकि हम लोग छोटा ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है, तो ऐसे कनेक्शंस, नेटवर्क्स हम लोग के लिए बहुत बेटर करता है. थैंक यू.
Thank you very much, Naomi and Ashdul. I think we are connecting you all with our people in Assam. I think we've already done that. And welcome to join us, for sessions. Incidentally, I just want to share this with the rest of the members as well. We can have people from outside Maharashtra join the PicoNet, okay, for the meetings, of course. They will not be part of the whole voting. Whenever we may have that, we may not have it right now, but the formal structure, once it is really put into place, that is the thought and idea. So we are happy to bring in people from other states, because it gives us an opportunity to learn from them, gives us an opportunity to contribute and support them as well. So that's definitely there. So if you know of others who you'd like to invite to the platform, definitely from Maharashtra, because we want to make sure we get as many members as possible signed up over here, but also from out of state, as long as for our meetings, especially because we'd like everybody to benefit from what we are doing. Yeah. So just a heads up on that as well. Okay, great. Thank you very much again. All right. Anybody else? This is your time to really connect with other members and also, share your work more. So, okay. I think we will then in that case continue. I think most have already spoken, and we've covered quite a bit of work today. So I will just start talking a little bit about the plans that we have, a little bit about what are we looking to do as the Secretariat, geo NGO coordination, on those points, so that you know that there's a lot that's happening in the background as well. I'm sorry. We are in talk with UNICEF and the government to look at arranging a meeting with all the NGO partners that we have over here, and even beyond, other civil society members. And we are hoping to have that meeting very quickly. Like Nitin suggested, how do we get them more involved and understand more of what government is doing and how can NGOs contribute. So please keep a lookout for that. It's really important to come at the meetings, because of course we will share the links to the video recording in our YouTube channel, etc. But at the end of the day, by being here at the meeting, I think there's a lot more difference in terms of what kind of visibility you get, what kind of connections you can make, and above all, we of course send the documents, to those who have actually kind of attended our meeting and are part of the membership group. So I would encourage those who are not yet done to please do so. Yeah, that's one of the things that we have been trying to work on. The second is, of course, the whole capacity building and training piece, which, as you saw today, will roll out now very quickly. Now that Radar is ready with the modules, because we did want it to be in Marathi, so that everybody right to the grassroots level has a chance to participate and benefit from them. So that has been taken care of as well. The third thing that we're trying to work on is how to share more information between our members while keeping data privacy issues at the foremost. I think we are very conscious about that as well. We definitely don't want to have databases floating around, which is open to everybody. So there are two things that we are doing. One is we are mapping all our partners based on the PICO model, who has resources that they could potentially share, which could be in cash or in kind, right? Those who do partnership based expansion, okay, so they may get funding from their partners and their donors, but then are looking to implement projects in a joint allocation mode or in a joint implementation mode. So those are the kind of partners we are trying to map. The second part is the entrepreneurs in the network. That is those of you who have original solutions, okay, which are your own, right, which you have designed yourself, or which you are offering uniquely to other people in the network. This could be free, this could also be paid, because in some cases, like what Mandar spoke about, these are paid programs that CYDA is also kind of funding partially. So I think these are things that we are this thing. Yeah, thank you, Priyanka. Please go ahead. We do understand, everybody has got really busy schedules. So we thank you for your time for joining with us. So I think so that's the second part that we are looking to identify in the PicoNet, is who has got what kind of offering for the rest of the members that they can benefit, of course. And the last but not the least is what Nitin suggested, kind of alluded to, is the citizen groups, right? And that is specifically either two things. One is location, means you can help us get reach, you can help us give traction on the ground, right? That is what citizens are, whether it is an individual, whether it is a group, or whether it's an organization or an institution, right? So this is where we're looking. So what are the locations that everybody, one of the things that we are very, very happy is that we at least have one partner in every district. And I think that is really great to know. So, so that is one part that we're looking location based. But the second that we're also looking is sectoral and what you call it, affected people, categories. Which means, are there people who focus on women? Are there people who focus on senior citizens? Are there people who focus on disability? This is some of the things that we are also trying to make sure we map and have with us. So I think what is really important is the more information you are willing to share with us, the more information that you are going to, put down in our forms. That, I'm sorry, I know we give you a lot of forms to fill, but that's because we want to make sure we have the data available so that we can share it in a way that everybody has, rather than you have to sharing with every single person separately, right? So this would give a better way for us to share with the whole group at one shot. So I hope y'all will continue to share that information. Any connects that you have with government or other important stakeholders you think that again will benefit, the more we share together, the better it is, right? And yes, I will of course also ask Lekha to just come in and talk a little bit about the social media, the website, the YouTube, because these are all facilities and platforms. Both you can benefit from it, but you can also leverage it for your own visibility and the work that you are doing. So Lekha, very quickly, if you could just come in and talk a little bit about all our handles, and then later on put that also in the chat box one time, I think that would be great. I think we also have it in the WhatsApp groups in the description, but just very quickly, if you can speak about that a little bit. Yeah.
Okay, sure. Sorry, there were some issues with my system. Okay, so we have already shared, my colleague Shilpa has already shared our website details and all other social media handles. So currently we have a social media focused basically on different dates, different information that we are getting, relevant to our sectors, relevant to our thematic areas. We are sharing it. It's mostly based on information sharing and learning based. So we are also right now trying to focus on making sure that our members are also showcased on our websites and also on our social media, so that they get visibility. Other members know what our members, their fellow members are doing as well. So this is it. The details of the website and our social media is shared. I'll reshare it one more time just in case if anyone has missed. So that's it, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah. Great. Thank you so very much, Lekha. We will also be launching, we'll also be releasing our first newsletter for this year. As you all know, every quarter we've been doing it. We started this last year, the process of the newsletter. So we'll be again putting that out for this quarter. So it's a quarterly newsletter. So again, here, if you have information you want to share, do let us know, and we are happy to kind of make that happen and share with the others, right? We are looking at some kind of a simple technology solution to create kind of a dashboard as well for all this information that we have, so that more and more members and partners can immediately access and understand who's doing what, where, and how they can connect with them, right? But as I said again and again, we are very conscious about data privacy issues, and so we will ensure that that is taken care of while keeping as much as possible openness for facilitation between the partners. Yeah. If there are any thoughts, ideas, suggestions on how we can do this better and what we need to do, please do let us know, because that will really be very, very useful. Yeah. Is Nidhi on the call with us? No, she's not. Okay. So again, I think we will be sharing this in a little bit, but our partner, our GC member, Ms. Nidhi, who is the director at Kotak
Tech Mahindra Foundation.
I'm sorry, I for a minute, I'm like, what did I say? Okay. Thank you, Nitin. I froze for a second there. Tech Mahindra Foundation. Okay. Yeah, we are doing some incredible work in the healthcare space of skilling. And so they are hosting a program in Pune, and they are planning also in Mumbai. More than happy to share that invitation for everyone. And if anybody would like to attend it, do join them at that place. So we will share that with you as well. We also have with us our other GC member. Two of our GC members could not make it, but we do have Mr. Ranjit as well with us, who's the director at St. Stephen's School for the Deaf and Mute. And I think we would like to also hear from him if there are any thoughts on, what we should be doing in terms of going further and forward with the whole MahaPeople coalition. Ranjit, may I please request you to say a few words? Ranjit? Okay, maybe there's an issue. He was just now with us. Okay, no problem on that. We will move ahead. Yeah. Again, last this thing, we are early. I thought we would be later because there'll be so much of questions. But I think we are all, a lot of our people are very, very experienced. So I think we are just waiting to get more structured and use the SOPs to do that, which we will be sharing very quickly. So if there are no other words, Nitin, if you would like to just give the closing remarks and show on behalf of the GC members, really would appreciate that. Yeah.
Yes, thank you, Karen. I think it was a wonderful session today. And we had experts, we had grassroots level partners. I think all of us, got to understand more about what is the plan and the way forward. And though it's a little bit, I would say late, but it is never too late to learn, because, we are going to face challenges over a period of time. As you rightly mentioned, we were discussing about monsoon preparedness, but we should also be talking about drought, because there are certain areas in Maharashtra which have this problem every year. Maybe we can also think on the issue of growing our network. So if each and every GB member and GC member, tries to connect with many other grassroots level NGO partners, I think we will have much more concrete information, data, and quick response in whatever work we do in the future. So I think it's wonderful, and we should keep it up. In fact, now I think it's a time where we can increase the frequency of our meeting and interactions, and also strengthen the thematic areas where we are trying to work, because we will have experts in the thematic areas who can share their knowledge and experience with all the other GB members, so that all these programs can be scaled up. And I think it's a good start, I would say. So let's continue this and take it further. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, Nitin. Continuously look forward to your guidance and support. I just want to introduce Shilpa one more time. I know many of you know her, but she has not said anything right through this meeting. Shilpa, if you are here, just to say hello so everybody knows who you are. And of course, when you keep calling everybody, they'll hopefully tell you a lot more.
Yes, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Shilpa. I'm working as a senior thematic coordinator, MahaPeople with Lekha and team.
Yeah. Thank you very much again. Yeah. All right. Thank you. And we'll bring it to a close. I'm glad we could be really efficient about the time and, continuously look. So we look forward to being in touch, and we will share with you details on the training programs. Please request you all to attend them and share it with your constituents, because this is open to everybody. It is not just only our members or just only senior people, but every single person in the grassroots as well. So thank you very much, and bye-bye. If anybody wishes to stay back to talk to us, please feel free to do that. But otherwise, thank you very much and take care.
Just a reminder that I have shared my contact details and Shilpa's contact details on the chat box. If anyone wants to, know anything more about the thematic areas or MahaPeople, feel free to contact us anytime. And if at all our calls are not getting connected, you can text us on WhatsApp as well. We can totally understand it. Thank you so much.